What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Speak Up series. Today we have a phenomenal guest, and we are so excited to have him on. Of
Who is
course,
it?
honestly, I'm not even sure I need an introduction from this man. You guys know him. You guys see him from his amazing
He's
content on YouTube, on Instagram. I mean, he's everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen,
everywhere.
please
Wow.
give it up for David Dobrik.
Woo!
Thank you, David.
Let me hold a dollar.
That was incredible. Wait, what happened?
I said, let me hold a dollar.
Come on, Reed. Come on, Reed.
Say, hey, the economy. I know where.
Wow. Came out
I'll
swinging.
send you guys all dollars after this. No, thank you for having me, and thanks for saying all that. That's great. That sounded very rehearsed. Like it was not like it took a lot out of you to say, but I appreciate it.
No, just right off the top, man. It's easy when you're talking to amazing people.
Thank you so much.
Of
Thank you for
course.
having me. I'm excited.
Oh man, we're so excited to get into it with you, and I guess that kind of the way that we've been starting off each of these is obviously everything in the world is a lot right now. It's a lot of
Right.
tragedy and trauma also being recirculated. So we just want to start off each and every single interview by asking each of our guests, where are you at? How are you feeling? Where's your headspace? Where are you emotionally and mentally right now?
Thank you. Finally, someone's asking.
How are you?
I don't know. I mean, the last couple months have been, I guess, in terms of the quarantine, the slowest months on planet Earth. Right? Everybody's kind of been inside. I've slowly gone back to my like high school roots of just staying inside and playing video games, like a disgusting amount. And I get a lot of texts, and everyone's like so concerned. They're like, "What are you doing? You must be going crazy because you can't do anything, or you can't go out, you can't meet people." And I've just been so content with just being at home by myself and just literally just I take naps, I eat, and then maybe I walk outside. So I'm in kind of a good spot.
Do you consider yourself an introvert?
I don't know. I'm asked that so often. I have no idea. For work, I'm a total extrovert, but like when I'm not working and I'm just like having me time, I'm a super introvert. Like I can be by myself for a long time. But then I also need company in like 8 hours. I don't know.
Let's just get right into it, man.
Into it.
We
Sure.
heard that, in light of the recent events, you decided to go to a protest despite the possibility of deportation. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, it is 100% true. But I do want to say that at the time, it wasn't like that's not something I had on my mind going into it. I think why I really wanted to go is because why I love that I went is because you see all this stuff on Twitter and you read about it and you're seeing all these posts on Instagram and everyone's getting involved, but it's like a completely different thing being there. And like, dude, the energy of like people that are like fed up and like want change and are demanding change. It sounds so cheesy, but it's so inspirational, and it really like changes the way you perceive things. And that's why I was happy that I got to witness that. One of the first protests I went to was in Santa Monica, and it was like it was like one of those protests like you had the police officers here and you had like the protesters like side by side right next to them, like right there protesting. And it was crazy. Like you just have goosebumps and chills like the entire time, and you're just like, this is like, people are fucking pissed. Like people are demanding shit to change. And like that really like prompted me to want to get involved more. Yeah, I think that's why it's important to go out too, if you can, and if you could do it safely. That like it's just a completely new perspective to experience that on your own. And I think it's really necessary, especially if you want to find ways to get more involved and be part of it.
Did it help you understand the situation a little better, being physically there at the protest? Because of course we have what the media is showing us, and then we have things that are all over social media. Yeah, you say so?
100%. It's like I said, it is so completely different. Like watching things on your phone and being there in person, and like you can feel like people's emotions, like you could see it on them. You're standing right there, like with them, like, and they're just fucking furious and they're just over it. And it's yes, 100%. And that's why, again, you should, if you have a time to go, I think especially these protests, they're literally history. So I think everybody should be a part of them in some way or another.
Does that scare you? Does it in any way, like we're living in this moment in history and experiencing it, and then in like 20 years it'll be taught in schools, and it's like, wait,
Right.
I'm
Will
like
it?
in this.
It better.
Well, I think it will be.
They better teach.
I think so. I think it's definitely, especially with like how savvy everyone is with social media now, like so many voices
Can't
are being
ignore it.
amplified, and like it's everyone's being heard, right? Everyone that has something to say. And like, I don't know who said it, like I'm gonna fuck up this quote, but Will Smith said something about like racism isn't new, it's just being recorded, or something he said. Like that's like the best way to put it, is like now everybody's seeing what Black people are seeing just in their communities, but now everyone's getting to witness it because it's all being put out to the media.
To that point, you know, obviously you're David Dobrik. You have an immense platform. Can you sort of share with us how important it is to you, or just in general, how important it is for people with large followings to sort of take initiative, sort of be those leaders in communities, to sharing information, sharing resources, and spreading awareness?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think the obvious answer is that there are a lot of people who look up to people with big platforms, and a lot of people are waiting to hear their opinions, and they want them to be a part of the cause. But I didn't like, as much as I understood that, I didn't really get it until I did. I think I posted something on my story about Black Lives Matter. And the amount of DMs I got of people just going like, you have no idea how much this means to me, was insane. And that was like, holy shit, like this really means something to people. And that's the part that meant a lot. And I don't, my audience knows that I don't really like to get involved with too much political stuff, because I just like to keep it lighthearted on my channel. But at the end of the day, this isn't political. It's just straight up moral, right? It's like racism. Like the fact that I have to say racism is bad.
Right. Yeah.
But like, that's what it is. And yeah.
It's essential, because I've even felt that, like, when, I don't know, I guess, you know, obviously, you know, we experience this our entire lives, and, you know, it gets to a certain point where it's continuously happening and we're almost desensitized. And I remember when the video of George Floyd came out, and, you know, I've talked about this a lot already, but, you know, first thing, my immediate instinct was to just scroll past it and to not watch it, and to, you know, just forget about it, move on. And then it was once I started seeing people, you know, like you, David, or like the countless other people who are getting involved in this matter, speaking up, I was like, oh wait, so like other people are now seeing and now understanding what's happening, and you know that it's very empowering to meet somebody that looks like me, somebody that's younger than me, older than me, because we really, I mean, there's 18 other countries protesting right now, and all 50 states. It's a pretty big, you know, moment of solidarity, you know.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, you know, like for us, you know, we feel, I don't know if y'all shared this, but like, it's sort of a thing of like, we never really felt represented, and now it's like everybody's fighting for us, and I kind of, it's a beautiful thing. Like, people are fighting for my life, whether they are doing it consciously or not, you know, and that feels good. And whether that, you know, and I want that to continue, you know?
Yeah, that's super well said. That's exactly the type of stuff I was reading. And I was just like, I was like, I can't believe that so many people are just happy that I literally made a fucking Insta story. Like, I didn't go out, I made a fucking Insta story. Like, that's all I did. And the people are like, this means so much to me. And that was, you know, that's obviously the reason that you're doing the right thing, and you got to keep going.
It does mean the world, honestly. How much, I'm curious to know, do you think that you do you think that you were as informed as you might be now, prior to everything going on, or where were you on that spectrum of, you know, just not knowing, and not even like in hate or anything, but just out of, you know, because it doesn't affect you, just not knowing, and now where you are?
Right. I think I'm in a total different place than I was before. That's for sure. Especially going to the protest. I was always aware of, you know, like you said, you see videos from time to time from like officers and Black people and things not going well, and you do become desensitized to it, and you just kind of like, you just scroll past it. But there was something about hearing people's stories, and like even hearing people speak at protests and reading people's DMs and just talking to people around me that like really educated me on everything. And I think that's so important. Like even if you can't donate or anything, I think it's so important to just talk to somebody about it, just so you're bouncing your ideas back off of somebody else, and you're learning. Because I didn't know nearly as much as I know now about the situation, and most importantly, I didn't feel like the emotions I'm feeling now. Like it wasn't as much anger as frustration as it is now.
That is why it's important. We do have to educate ourselves, and I think the biggest thing, like obviously we want to educate people as much as possible, but the biggest thing that we can do just as human beings is just listening to each other. Just
for real.
100, not just hearing them, but listening,
Right. What we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
Bringing you on, we're trying to listen to what you have to say and your perspectives. It's the way, because that's the way we continue these conversations. We continue to educate people that are watching, the people that we're talking to. Like, it's the amount I've learned just from doing this, from the amount of people that we've talked to, is insane. It's giving me a chance to have different perspectives and formulate my own thoughts on it. But that's what this is. John said it best. It's all about that. Just keep an open mind and listening. So we did a little bit of a light stalking.
It was heavy stalking.
And we saw that you posted a picture that said, "I understand that I will never understand, but I stand." It's a pretty powerful statement, and we just want to know what those words mean to you.
Right. That was at the Santa Monica protest. I think it was literally like one of the first signs I read, and I was like, holy shit, this is exactly what I'm fucking feeling right now. I'm never going to be able to put myself in the shoes of a Black person, right? Like that's just not possible. I'll never be treated, or I'll never be scared of police officers like a Black person is. And I think that sign is just, I don't know. I think it's, how do I word this? I think it's a sign that speaks for itself, so it's tough to elaborate on it.
Right.
Basically, it's that I understand that I'm never going to be able to fully be in the shoes of a Black person, but I want to make it clear that I'm here to support anybody that feels oppressed or feels like they need a louder voice. Basically, that's. But yeah, I like the sign because it was straight to the point. And I was
most definitely.
Do you think that with everything going on, passionate people seem to be, with people starting to arm themselves with knowledge about just the system and everything wrong with it, do you think that this is going to create real change? Like, this is going to be, with time and of course, but do you think that real change is going to come from what's been happening over the past few weeks?
Right. Yeah, that's my biggest hope, right? Is like, I hope that the people that are protesting now and going out into the street, that they're going out and voting for the right people to get into office to make changes. And that's what it comes to down at the end of the day is the people that are voting, and the people that are representing you in office. Those guys will make the changes. And I think that's what I was saying earlier, is this is great what's going on now, but it's going to continue past on this week of protests. It's going to be like an everyday thing now. Like, if you want to make an actual difference, you're going to have to put some work in. Yeah.
Let it be a trend.
Right. I think so. I think especially with like so many people that are going out to protest, I think that friends are not going to let other friends not go out and vote. Like, I think that's going to be the most important part, is like, hey, you were at the fucking protest.
Show up.
In the same way that we're holding people accountable to posts and
Exactly.
voice in this, we have to do the same, bring that same energy in November.
Yeah. Right before we wrap things up, I just wanted to, ask you. Of course, you are from Slovakia, right? That's where you were born.
Yeah.
When did you move to America?
When I was 6.
When you were 6. Okay, so you basically grew up in America.
Yeah, 100%. I don't. Yeah.
You remember anything?
Slovakia. Yeah, I mean, I still remember stuff from Slovakia. I remember I remember moving to America. My first English like words were "shake what your mama gave you."
Nice.
I don't know why that was that, but yeah, I lived in Ohio, and then I moved to the suburbs of Chicago, and then I moved
Shake
here.
what your mama gave ya.
That's exactly how I said it.
Okay, well, yeah, just you know, when I guess you know, not being, and were your parents from like grew up in Slovakia?
Totally, yeah. My parents
Okay.
have the most
So
foreigners.
Okay, so then not even necessarily having parents that you know knew America and
knew what's
knew the
going on.
systems, and then you know, of course, you get all of your information from your parents. I'm just curious, you know, right before we write, but I'm curious to know, like, when did you kind of start to understand the way that the relationship that you know Black people have with America and the things that go on in this country, and when did you decide for yourself that you know, oh, that's not, you know, obviously that's not okay?
Right. I mean, from as long as I can remember, I haven't thought of racism as anything other than a horrible thing. Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of obvious. But I it's embarrassing to note that probably it wasn't till like. It wasn't really till the age of social media where, especially like the neighborhood I was in was pretty much all white kids. So it wasn't until social media where I really started to like educate myself on things, because that's when I started to see things from other people that were outside of my community or circle that I would normally hang out with. And I think that's when I would first be like, okay, wow, like the town I live in is kind of sort of a little bubble. And now I would be seeing other people's perspective on things. So yeah, I think fairly late, but I mean, obviously, you know, the basics of racism has been taught to me. I mean, it hasn't been taught. I think that's just because, I don't know. You're not born racist. No one's born racist.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, I mean, just going off of that, obviously, you know, you didn't have any, you know, you weren't born here. Your parents weren't born here. So I would imagine, and I don't know because, you know, I wasn't born anywhere outside of America, but I would imagine when it's not embedded in your culture and in the culture of, you know, how you grew up and things like that, that it's a little bit harder because, you know, when you, like you were saying, you lived in a bubble. When you don't venture outside of that bubble, then it's just it's not even out of hate or anything. It's just
you
out
can't
of
see
I
what's
don't
not in
know
front of
anything
you.
else.
Totally.
So I just saying that, like, there's really no excuse for not being educated on these topics, especially right now, because there's people all around the world that are seeing these things, that are speaking up. And, you know, even if you feel that you're not as educated on the topics and you're not as, you know, you're just not as well versed on them, you can do as much as you can to make sure that you have all the information that you need. And, you know, you do that wonderfully, sir. You do it wonderfully.
Seems like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sir.
I don't know. You guys are just crazy.
What's interesting, I'm sorry to just still keep you here, but you just brought something. My parents came here from Haiti before having me, so I was born in America, but my parents are immigrants. And what's really interesting is I think that they came from a country where it's like it's all Black people, and it's like I think, you know, the closest they probably have to racism is possibly colorism. But you know, here, I think they were learning about everything at the same time that I was growing up, about just how, you know, it all how we are oppressed by by these social institutions and how we're seen by law enforcement. And I think it's really interesting that, you know, me and my parents were learning like kind of at the same time, and it was like the one moment where it really like it was like, oh wow, this is for real with Trayvon Martin. I was like 11, 12 years old, and that was pretty much it. That's when I think my parents definitely realized, we're like, oh, so this is how it is.
Right.
Got it. Cool.
Interesting wake up call.
Exactly. Yeah. So I wanted to, just because your parents are, you know, from Slovakia.
See, we're not that different.
We're not. We are all the same
We're all
people.
foreigners.
We're all
We're all
foreigners.
people that have no idea what we're doing, and we're figuring it out.
Exactly. That's all we can do is figure
Just
it out.
working towards a better society.
David Dobrik, ladies and gentlemen,
David
thank you
Dobrik.
so much.
Thank you
for coming
Thank you guys
on.
for having me.
Oh man, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah,
this
man.
is amazing.
Seriously.
And oh man, I'm just thank you. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I'm proud of you guys for doing this. This is awesome.